So I have uncontrolled urge to compile apps. So here I am, doing my last run on the World Wide Web category. And then I got development after that, which probably down to 32%. So we'll see how things go. Probably should go over some of the archivers that I looked through and what my general approach was, and a few things that I've done to get a few things to compile. And getting a couple stragglers, and then I finally decided I was just going to work on OCaml. And after I did that, all of a sudden, CMake spontaneously generated, so it's kind of been a good night because I have a top 10 list of. It's the HBI Bureau of Investigation Top 10 Compile Fugitives. Scarface PY 27 Element Tree, Buzzy SDL, Zodiac XCB, G95 The Prophet, TCSH The Hired Hand, Protobuff, Motive, Cafe, MV Parser, glib, xfont, GSM, Glue, Glut, Guile, and GoObject Introspection. So those are the ones I'm working on. Or the ones I'm going to start doing, because soon I'm not going to be doing just blind runs. I may be able to pick up a few here and there from the earlier days before I moved over to end curses. Maybe in the converters category that I forgot that I might have some more chances with. And I might have some more chances with a few minor things that I did with some things. But now that I got CMake, I think there's going to be a lot of. I may go again, just do more runs. But it can get kind of. Some of these categories are just too big to do a whole analysis on. I redid my analysis for the archivers, but I'm pretty much stuck at this stage until I'm able to actually, even though I've been able to build OCaml, there's two packages in there that, there's another OCaml package that it wants to build, it's just not building. And I know SDL is going to be big on the list, and it's waiting on, I think it's waiting on GLU/GLUT. It may be compile, I'm not sure. But right now, the archivers category is beating the fonts category. So that tells me if I'm able to, look at the errors a little more closely than just doing dry runs like I'm doing now in the background. Oh, there's a failure. Woo! Then I get a better idea as to what to do about them. In some cases, it helps to turn the specs off. Some cases, it helps to turn the specs on. Sometimes it doesn't matter. In fact, I think I need to go back in, turn some of my options back on. And then there's just something else that's kind of strange going on that I have talked about recently. Basically, things just aren't linking or finding the right path, even though they build. And it's not because I'm saying use the headers that I've copied. They're just copy the headers. I'm not directing this thing to go look at another set of libraries, I don't think. But even before I did that, it was still having these issues. I just got this artsy-fartsy feeling that pathing isn't good enough to get the libraries that the programs need in any other directory, but where it's been predestined to go, they won't load for some reason. So anyway, I'll just go over some of the other stuff that I did. Got my notes from thousands of piles of papers, and I'll put it back in my pile that I've gone over. And eventually I may do all these, depending on what I did. So For OCaml and package source, before you start, you just got to delete patch configure because it's going to interfere with the patching you're going to do. Did bmake extract, and I got the patches from the Haiku ports, and I basically made a change to the configure file and one change to something called nice.c. It wasn't that much. I pretty much followed the patches that were submitted by Chris Roberts in October 2013, and it worked. I didn't do much here with what Jerome Duvall looks. I don't know what he's doing. He's patching someone else's copyright, and who cares? These are a lot of things. They're operating systems, and it's a config guess, and I think it's one or the other. It's either config guess or configure that works. And if configure doesn't work, configure guess tries to come in. I guess I did make this change down here. There's probably one more for Haiku, but whatever. And then it built. It was almost right. It almost built, but it would error out a nice.c, and I didn't have a solution for that. My hacking didn't allow a build to take place in that situation. So done with that one. I think I've already mentioned this, but just in case I haven't, I had to use, I had to turn off some of the options that I have turned on in my make.conf to get XV the archiver, Jove the editor, and libkaka to compile, which kind of is just another indication that although my options are helping in some ways, there still are going to be times I'm going to want to turn those options off to get even more builds, and I haven't really done in some of these categories builds without the options on. Mesa Lib was fun. Actually, I went over that already, so I don't know what that's doing over here. Alright, so then I did unrar, and I'm not sure whether this needed one of the more important changes that I made. But this unrar, I basically bmake extract, my same Haiku ports patches, did it Confederate style, just paved it over, made the changes first, so it obviously it took me 2 runs, right? Now, when I say Confederate patch, you could always just edit the files that are in question. But I also had to make a further change to a file called consio.cpp, and I had to get rid of references to this variable or function or something called getPass. And I'm noticing just about every time a program wants to use a password, it fails with some kind of undefined reference. It's as if we don't have any headers to handle passwords, or if we do, none of the programs out there want to use them, or there's something else going on that I don't understand. On these patches, though, from Haiku ports, what I did not do is make any of these changes down here that had anything to do with X-ray, stuff that wasn't there before. The stuff we've added, I didn't do those. I tried them at first and they fucked up my compile. Basically, you just got to go into the make file and as a part of it, and you change the minus p thread to minus lbsd, and that worked. And there's one line to get rid of here with the void set block size, whatever. This file called archive bpp. And I didn't do anything with this stuff down here where it wants to change the way it. I just left it with strip unrar. That worked just fine for me. And this little Indian thing was very important. I added that, and that led to some other solutions, actually. So that now I know how to deal with little Indian issues that come up. Add this stuff. It's probably just a blanket thing you can do. And this is in the os.hpp file in the just source directory. And I didn't do any of this stuff down here because I tried it, but it fucked up my compile, so I just got rid of it. Then it worked. It wouldn't link. It was looking for a text file to link to. All right, so this got a little bit. This is where it gets interesting here. PZIP was kind of the same story. Original error, linker couldn't make an executable, so the patch seemed to deal with that. It's got a different way of doing it. And even with the patches from Haiku Porter, I still had to get rid of another reference to get pass and user and input utils.cpp at cpp zip UI console directory. There's just a couple lines there that has the get pass in it, and got rid of them. Compiled. Hey, magic. So what is it? Our headers don't have password stuff in it, or do we got it in a place where people don't look, or are we not finding it? I'm not sure. GCPIO again did the patches from Haiku ports. One error remained, and this was some kind of there's a file types.h file. And I just had to remove the last line that had stat int underscore stat and quotes or something. Then it seemed to build, and then it already actually did this. It also does this on what other program is that? Let me look, because I actually didn't write anything for that. GTAR. So GTAR and GTAR base also had the same issue I'm going to talk about here with GCPIO. Haiku ports calls it CPIO. It's same program. Now here's the deal. I really don't have a perfect build, and neither does Haiku ports. There's another binary, but who's got a tape drive? Okay, there's another binary that comes with CPIO that controls archiving to an actual tape drive. It's called RMT or GRMT. Okay, that thing wouldn't build. It had multiple issues. It couldn't see the local include directory as usual. So it, I just kept trying to copy headers in there, and finally I just got tired of doing it. I said, you know what? I don't have a tape drive. I don't think anybody else has a tape drive these days. Haiku ports or Haiku Porter or whatever you want to call it doesn't build that with it. So why should I? Pretty much. So I just let it not build, and it acted like it was okay. It's just that when the package list came up, and this is going to be important, something else I'll mention. When the package list came up, I said, hey, can't find this GRMT thing. What the hell is that? I didn't see any errors in my compile. Well, what ends up is it just doesn't error out, even though it doesn't build. Don't know why. I don't think it checks to see if there's a physical tape drive on your system. So basically, I just removed from the package list, and I was done. I got a package, but in truth, neither I or the Haiku Porter has built that. There's an issue with the headers, and of course, it doesn't look like it's a problem, right? And at the end, the same thing's going on with Python. I think that it's not able. The compiler isn't able, in part. I think I might have. It's actually the last video I did where I was doing Python just to show the user local directory doesn't make a difference in the end result. from what I saw. So far, I mean, it's incomplete. It may be part of an overall solution, but so far it's just as broken with or without the user directory. But I still think that I copy the headers in. Yeah, part of what I do with Python is copy the headers in, but in that case it didn't seem to really make a difference. But on this one, at least when I go with GCC against the C the C code, RMC dot, what the hell is this thing called? RMT.C, it would complain about not being able to find the headers. I just physically go in there with GCC and do the compile right there. Now maybe it isn't going to find the headers because it wasn't ran in the base directory. I don't know. But it seems like it's not finding the headers. There's got to be a reason why it didn't build. And those are the only errors that I noticed when I ran GCC against it. Who knows, right? So something that, and if you watch my videos, my opinion is that given the fact we already have a tool set to use, I really don't want to have to build stuff for Haiku Porter. But I tried and I failed, but I still would if I actually knew how to. But I certainly don't want to have extra work to do, but I will point out that Haiku Porter doesn't have a package list, a list of files that's expected to build with the package to compare against before the package is created. And of course, if that was in the package list, it at least generate an error. Now, if I were to make the decision about what goes in the package list or what doesn't, if they decided to do that, there are certain packages I would make optional, like this, binary or library that controls a tape drive that doesn't exist on 99.9% of all computers in the world, especially the ones that use Haiku. But still, it's good to have a package list because I think people are doing builds of Python and they think it succeeds, and the errors go by so fast they don't know they're actually missing stuff. It's possible. Now I gotta look at the Python package that's on my system and see if there are any GYOs and PYOs and PYCs. Let me see. Let me try to actually look and find out. Instead of speculating, I think it's possible. If there's no package list, how do they know it's a good build? And stuff like Python, you want to know the module's built. You want to know if you get if you just build it and it's off in some build bot somewhere and you don't see what comes out of it, and it doesn't say error at the end, cannot stat, LD cannot stat, maybe you might not find out that it didn't build right. So let me see if I could. I could be completely wrong. Let's find out. So I'm gonna find out right now. Where the hell are my packages? I think I built Python in here. There's gotta be one sitting around somewhere. I had it installed. Okay, it's 2692. Do we have any PYOs or PYCs? There's a lot of files there. Okay, there's PYOs, PYCs. Alright, so there's some there. So, no. Okay, so all I'm saying is there's a potential. I know that at least I know that when I was compiling this stuff, on camera, that a lot of the time the PYOs and PYCs wouldn't build, and I didn't have a clue that those things didn't build until package stores tried to package it up and compared what the compile said was supposed to be there, compared the output of the compile with what was supposed to come out, and there was all the PYOs and PYCs were missing. At least in 2.7, I don't know if that's holding things up or if they're all built. If they're all built, great. But if they're not, and we don't know it, and I don't know how important these things are. So, or maybe some modules aren't being built. Are there any SOs here? Man, I'm not. There's a lot of files in this one. Let's see. There's only the library Python shared object. I mean, there's none of the modules are built. Am I getting that right? I don't see them. So I see PYOs and PYCs, but I'm not seeing .SOs. And .SO should build as well. Like the time module was a .SO. If you're not building a lot of other Python packages, you're not going to find out. Oh, we're missing that. If you had a package list and you knew what to expect that would come out of a good build, then you have a clue something's wrong. So I am not certain. The only thing I'm certain about are there aren't any .SOs with this Python 2.6 build here. And actually, now that I think about it, what was stopping the PYOs and PYCs, in part, amongst other things, was the test Unicode. It would fail the test Unicode PY test and just wouldn't build them. But I'm still looking here. There might be there might be .SOs and might be. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep looking. But the reason why there wouldn't be any .SOs or in here for the modules like time module or whatever module. One reason. Now it could be built in a different way, but not separately, like package source. That's possible. I can speculate that way too. But okay, what do we got here? We got anything? We got some grammar pickles. There are some SOs. So I want this. How do I make this damn thing bigger? So there are. Question, are all of them there? There's struct. There's struct. Okay, well, yeah, okay. Looks like a complete build. So, all right. So I'm just talking about a package list, not necessarily headers, but if there's a difference, but at one point I was convinced this thing was built on some other machine cross-compiling, quite frankly. But if not, and it's building in Haiku, then, I don't know the mystery solution. I've absolutely applied every single patch. So there must be some secret patches off somewhere that allows it to build where it doesn't build here, because I've tried it in every way with every patch and with every shebang and all that stuff. But anyway, the point really is about the package list, and we don't have one. Frankly, I wouldn't want to make one, especially for a huge build. But that would warn us if we're building stuff that's incomplete. Now, whether anybody cares that CPIO is not building this little module to be able to stick a cassette tape into your computer and do a backup, probably not. I certainly don't care. But the question is if we knew that or not. Or whether it's by choice or not. Don't know. When I did unzip 6.0, I've actually forgotten what lines I got rid of, but I had to edit some use.c file. Comes up in compile error. XAR. Pretty much Chris Roberts again. Pretty much did his patches and compiled fine. Alright, so then, and I know this affected more than one of these archivers, at least in my case. And the way I did it differently because I've I thought about it and I decided I don't want to be pointlessly patching things endlessly. So from here on out, I'm not going to know whether, if in the strictest patching sense, whether um, a file called dirent, the header file dirent.h, the pathing, the include needs to be changed from sys/dirent.h to just dirent.h. What I did is, since I have my specs going, I just pointed to my own header. So this is the first actual change I've made to my own. The only difference between my headers and the Haiku headers, because I have write access to this. Or of course, the headers that built with all these packages, they're actually able to populate this area, but maybe it would end up being in the home directory or wherever the package manager wants it. So that's not necessarily missing. But over here in the sys directory, I decided I'd rather make my own dirent, error number, xcb, and xproto headers. And what's the contents? It just says include the xproto header where it's actually located. So I made one change, and for every compile it would fail because it can't find xproto in the sys directory. Some of them were actually looking for xproto there, as well as xcb, as well as dirent, and as well as error number. I don't have to do that anymore. And how hard was this to make? Not that hard. Now, that's not POSIX. I say, fuck POSIX. Because, all I'm doing is saying, hey, go read the file where it actually is. Don't look here because it's not here. That's all I'm saying. There's no real technical content, coding content in there, except just go look somewhere else. Header's over there. Go look over there. That's all I'm doing. So, I think we should do that. That boosts up the numbers. I mean, so just those little things, put it all together, 69%. And I bet you that there's going to be other headers that I'll find in that exist on the system, but they're not being found. And so I'm gonna make more of those. And see, I got write access to boot home package include sys, and my spec points to that. So, and here's something that's just really strange here. It's saying that libexec.info is failing to get the GCC version. It's kind of like the error that would come up when I had the SI. For a while, I was getting this SIG C++.so not found. Then I was getting the libpython 2.4 not found. It would just come up as compiles were running. For both 27 and 34. So I have those in my. All he did to solve that was someone else called this a hack, but tell me what the fuck I'm supposed to do besides that. Settings and it's non-packaged. No, it's under non-packaged library. Those. So that right there didn't solve that issue. I was hoping it would, but it didn't. Okay. We'll see how it goes. What actually am I making right now? I don't even know. Oh, some dependency in the World Wide Web directory. So now I'm going to be in a stage where I'm going to want to find more major dependencies and get them squared away. The problem I'm having with Glut right now is there's some kind of I think package sources causing it not to build. There's some kind of the loader doesn't know how to. Yeah, see, so that just failed. CCPMS fail. What would it fail for? Am I not allowed to use my thing anymore? What's going on? Is this frozen? The system's gone down. Yep. That's all I could do in this circumstance is Control Escape, kill it. Start it up again. I don't know what that. So it happens every once in a while. Sometimes I'll come in at night and the screen's just black. Or in the morning, doing a night build. Sometimes I've been able to identify what it was, and sometimes I haven't. Damnedest thing. So, I don't even know what the hell I was on right there. I gotta figure out what I was on. Continue the build in the World Wide Web directory. I know it's probably past the last package I built, which is, God, what is this now? Checkbot? Fuck is that?
Share and enjoy, journey through life with a plastic boy, bell by your side, that you found me your guide.
That's a startup song. Oh, I just love this. Okay. So then, how to deal with that? Just go, what am I doing? World Wide Web? Go ahead and edit the master make file. This controls everything that builds. And I'll just go down to checkbot, which is there. Don't tell me it's Cherokee. Start her up again. Maybe it doesn't like Debo. And we're off. Okay, we're back to doing what we're doing. And then when I'm done, I just delete that and restore the makefile copy and back to where I was. Anyway, before it was interrupted by a compile interruption, yeah, this must have tried already. I'm going to be down to a point where I'm going to need to clear things up. I know maybe a few converters will be able to now build because, I haven't done a run through it with ncurses on and curses off. Oh no, yeah, and when CMake built, I think it wouldn't build unless I had some of my options off. And credit for the build goes to Diger because Diger has patches for that. So I started to collect patches from a big, thick pile of patches for CMake, the history of it. And now I don't need to worry about that. How's WebLint? All right, so now the major threat to what I'm doing here, or what I'm trying to do, is why aren't things linking properly? So it seems, and I already talked about this last night. I think there was an error that would come up with library Z. And when I try to run some things, like anything with library PNG, and at first it was looking at the version of just the name of the library. It was package source was mislabeling it as libz 1.02, and So I renumbered it, then it worked. Then I tried it again, and it didn't work. What the hell's going on with that? But if you know, if things just aren't linking up to the library directory, you know, even though I path go in there and I make the path, you know, path is a command you put in the shell to say, hey, it gets the system to use various, know where to find, you know, the executables in the libraries. Well, if that doesn't work, then forget it. Let's see CCPMS. Probably should remember that because I just looked at it. So if we get a bunch of builds, but they're crap, then, you know, I have no faith that the system can even build anything right. Don't have this problem in other systems. So what the fuck's going on? There was some discussion about library linking in the developer list. I just don't. It was completely unclear as to actually what the fuck is going on. But for some reason, things weren't linking unless you made a symbolic link between one library directory and the other, and it's... I sure as shit hope that I didn't have to do that. Oh, now you mention that. You know, we're 3,800 packages into this adventure here. And I still don't know what that 214 whatever phone number type number is. It keeps popping up on various things. It's not just libraries. In fact, I'd probably bring it up now if I try to do links GUI. Now, I'm not pathed yet. In fact, I might just do the path. If it's going to just make a damn bit of difference here. But it almost feels like I'm just building crap. Which is not my goal. And yeah, if you set something up, you know, the way you cannot build crap is to use Haiku Porter. Well, that's bullshit. Doesn't prove a damn thing. I'm going to add the library directory here. Copy this back in because I don't have it pathed all the time because I got a lot of stuff already installed in the other system, you know, the main system. Let's try links GUI. See, you know, that is the goddamn... Oh, no, it's just links. Right. It's the strangest thing. There it is, okay? And there's 214-747-8780. That's 214-747-8780. So, stuff like that doesn't happen in other systems is just whatever. Okay, well, you want bear an operating system, go for it. But if we're doing something weird, we got some kind of broken linkage going on unless you use the package manager, then forget it. I don't even know how to build something with, like, I tried. So, there you go. Say goodbye. I mean, it's not, you know, get this thing to work. So I'll build everything I can. You know, maybe there'll be some fix I can do, but, you know, if it has something to do with, you know, no version information available, blah, 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 blah. Now, you could do a run elf on this thing. Read elf. And what's a minus A for all. You know, see, there's got elf headers or whatever. In fact, I should do this against links, actually. Just gives links. God, it's a lot of information. But yeah, I have to redirect the output. Alright, let's see what the hell this thing's saying. See anything about libraries it's looking for or anything. So it's looking for these libraries in boot home package library. Now it's looking for libz.so1. Now I don't think I'm missing a libz.so1. Let's just take a look. Just continue forever. Let's bring my system down. I've got, I don't know how many library files I got. It's a lot. Please stand by. Our operators are ready to help you read the libz. And I probably could have just done an ls grep libz, but I'm more GUI inclined. My God. Oh yeah, something that kind of helps speed things up. I think I already went with this. The debug server, just kill it a couple times. What it really helps is killing the CD database daemon. Okay. There we go. All right, now we actually got a responsive system, somewhat. Well, there it is. There's the libz.so1. So, you know, whatever. I don't know what the fuck is going on with it. But, so this has been a fun adventure, but it's been pretty much useless so far. If these things don't work, what's the point? 3,000 broken packages. Yeah. And what's different about this system than the other ones? I don't know. I do know that Apache has memory issues. I know that YouTube Downloader can't find the Python main. It's just everything. And it's not like, oh, well, package source is blah, blah, blah. No. It's a package manager for like 2 to 3 operating systems and ported over to like 11. I mean, can't tell me that they're all having problems that I'm, you know, they're not. You go to NetBSD and won't have those problems. So, whatever. And it's not because I'm telling package source to look for the headers in, you know, boot home package include. And the only reason we're doing that is because we don't have write access to our own headers. You know, can't even log in as root to do that, you know. So, anyway, I'll just see what it builds. Then the end curses games, they work. Like, here's do some of these. Do I have a path? I don't even know if I have a path. Da, da, da. Welcome to Omega. I don't think we have a port for this. Now, what's the secret patch for it? It just built. Didn't do anything. I just quit because I don't want to play a D&D game. This is, you know what? This looks like some kind of D&D game. Control C worked. And we got Moon Buggy, which is kind of fun. Woohoo! Start the game. Spacebar to jump. Oh, I'm dead already. There's command line. So there's a bunch of stuff. So those are working. Yeah, it's not an issue. Go ahead and crash. There you go. Just gonna quit. Game over, and then I don't know. Probably number 2000. Yeah. But none of the X11 games are working. Of course. I probably need to make some kind of I gotta look into it. But eventually I'll be just down to just solving problems. It'll get tedious. And then it's really chaps my ass to go and patch things and to find out I can't find the fucking library. It's just great. Just love that. So that's it for now. I'm going to get the hell out of here because whatever. Next few days, the www directory will finish building. I don't think I'm going to get any web browsers on this build run. This is the directory that has Firefox and SeaMonkey and the old Mosaic and, Midori and NetSurf and all that shit, but I don't think it's going to build. Just don't think it's going to build. There may be some kind of, I thought maybe I saw somewhere some kind of Perl-based web browser. Ooh, should probably text, but I doubt it. I don't even know if that. Maybe I was just imagining and hoping I get something a little better than Lynx. But at this stage, I have to uninstall the Lynx GUI, use the regular Lynx if I want to do any browsing besides what comes with the system already. So it almost feels like everything was purposely broken, so just to prove that everybody else is too incompetent to do anything except, let me get this. What's this? Another conf test. So, we'll see. And you know what? It may turn out that in a week I'll have some. I thought I had a solution for a while there. I just changed the number. I literally just changed the number of the build, and then worked for a second. It was like a blank terminal with nothing coming up because there was no X window. Every X program says, can't find the graphics. I even have the Plan 9 window manager that can't find a display. So, I don't know if the dbus great. Alright. That, whatever. Done for now. I'll just let it go. But, actually, if I can't get anything to work, I mean, what's the point?